Man, oh man, it's a pleasant sight to see when all of these certain scenes I read so long ago in the manga are finally getting animated. To the Gowther and Diane exchange at the end, to the King and the Fairy Forest situation, to Jericho and Bond and that relationship being built up, to the scene with Bond looking at Elaine's body, to seeing, you know, King talking with his best friend and all that, and everybody thinks he's crazy, to just the Ten Commandments. I mean, just, there's so many scenes I have been waiting for such a long time to see animated that I'm happy right now. Like, I'm happy, okay? Just let me relish in the fact of, as a fan right now instead of a reviewer, just let me relish in the fact that just I'm getting to see these scenes finally animated, and it's very soon until you guys get to meet the sun itself, till you get to meet Praise the Sun. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. We're so close. We're so close. Well, we're not necessarily close. It's probably going to be about 8 episodes and probably till we see the sun itself. But, I mean, still, I'm just like, I'm very hyped up. I'm very hyped up because some of these characters, since I know, you know, what they're capable of, what they have done, and since I've read the manga and I'm up to date and all that, you guys are in for a good treat. You anime-onlys right now, if Studio A1 does a good job with this season, they don't mess it up, this is going to be a very fun season. Way better than the first season. Just hands down way better, because there's just some really good scenes that are going to happen, especially with what is going down with, you know, Diane and Gowther, which I'll get into that in a moment. But for now, though, let's talk about something and kind of point out to you anime-onlys if you haven't noticed yet. If you haven't noticed, there is a rift that has obviously started to form. There is a big divide in the 7 Deadly Sins. And in some ways, you can't even really say the 7 Deadly Sins really exist anymore. I mean, you have King and Bond going off doing their own thing with Jericho, and, you know, Elaine's body and all that. And then you have the rift between Gowther and Diane at the end of the episode, to, you know, Gowther not listening to Merlin, to having, you know, Meliodas say he doesn't want Elizabeth to come with them. I mean, you have all these little things going on. It's like the 7 Deadly Sins, they're not really together anymore. They're not a group. They're just splitting off doing their own thing, and they're not really working together at all. There's just a massive divide right now, which is just a very upsetting and sad thing when you actually take a moment to realize that. It's like, we're not going to probably have these characters together for a good long while because of what is really happening here. They're going down their own character arcs and development and all that they must take for them to develop as people and also get stronger as well. Besides a certain character, you know what I'm talking about, manga, you know, manga readers, which... Anyways, though, getting off of that, okay, getting off that, I shouldn't talk about that. Let's, you know, talk about the situation with Diane and Gowther. So, that entire scene... For some reason, I feel like that's rushed. I could be wrong. I could be. Like I've said already in my first impressions of Season 2, it's been a while since I read this content. It's been a while. I remember the great scenes and stuff, but it's been a while. I don't remember, like, panel by panel, word for word. I don't remember everything. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm human. I forget stuff. And... it does feel like some things have already been cut, unless the stuff has been added into the OVAs, which that is something I want to clarify. So, I was told in the comment section last week, and thank you for all those that did clarify to me, thank you so much, I do appreciate that. I was told that apparently the stuff that I thought was missing from the first episode of Season 2, that stuff that was missing was added into the OVAs. So, if you have not seen the OVAs, go watch them. They are very important then. And now, I still have yet to watch them, so I cannot confirm what they still had in it or not, but that was what I was told. So, if you have not seen the OVAs, you're an anime only, go off and watch, you know, Signs of the Holy War. Watch that, because that's very important for this arc of, you know, the 7 Deadly Sins. Anyways, getting back on topic, though, the entire exchange with Diane and Gowther is very interesting, because Gowther, out of all the characters, I think he's the one that lacks the most information. We don't really know much about him, and I know for a long time since he was introduced, you know, many anime-onlys are probably thinking, like, what is he? I mean, when you think about, you know, all the 7 Deadly Sins, they're all their own species. I mean, you have King, which is a fairy. Diana is a giant. You have Meliodas, which is, you know, like a demon. You have Bond, which is an immortal human, the undead Bond. I mean, we just have a very exotic cast of characters. They're not the same species. So when you look at Galther, you're like, what is Galther? Like, what is he? Who is he? And, I mean, when you see this, episode, you're like, whoa, that's a very interesting, like, perspective to have. Like, we knew for a while he didn't have emotions. Like, it seems like he doesn't really have a good understanding of emotions. And we see firsthand in this episode that he wants to understand what love is. Now, basically, he saw how far Bond went for his loved one, Elaine. In, the first season or the first half of Taizai, you had it to where he got to witness Bond going so far as to go after his best friend just to try to revive Elaine, thanks to the Goddess clan talking to him and all of that. So that right there just shows that how powerful love can be in some ways, how it can make someone do things that they normally wouldn't do. And that is what Galther wants to understand. He wants to understand what love is. He wants to comprehend it. And so he's going so far doing things that are not morally correct or right at all. He's trying to figure out what certain things mean. For instance, what he did to, Gira and all that. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. It's been a while since I pronounced her name. But I mean, we get to see him do some very despicable things to her. And for instance, he erased her memory, where she, changed to where she no longer has a brother. He changed to where some things are a lot better for her. She forgot the painful experiences she had. But overall, though, he's manipulated so much, you can't even really call her the same person anymore. And he's done some really questionable things right there. And in a lot of ways, you can consider Galther as a villain. Like, he's not a good dude at all because of what he has done. But at the same time, he lacks that comprehension. He doesn't understand or morally understand how messed up it is for what he has done. So it makes him for a very intriguing character, and I could definitely see many anime-onlys being drawn to Galther because of what he did in this episode. Now let's talk about Diane. So Diane, she has kind of like an awakening. She has remembered what she has lost. We knew a long time ago, King and Diane, they had that moment a long time ago, and they developed feelings for each other. And Diane forgot everything, and, they kind of separated apart. Eventually, Diane started to fall in love with Meliodas, and King realized that, Diane had feelings for Meliodas, and he probably could never be with her ever again. And so he got the L. He got the shaft to the side. And then on top of that, he had to kill his best friend. So, I mean, he had all of this weight on his shoulders, on top of that of, abandoning the fairy forest. I mean, he just has so much weight on his shoulder. He's had a very bad, past, basically. And finally, Diane has remembered. She has remembered who King is. She has remembered who he was, her relationship with him, and she wants to talk with him. However, King is chasing after Bond, which means is they're not going to be able to talk about everything about the relationship. And personally to me, King and Diane's relationship and all that, I'm a big fan of it, okay? Now, romance and ships and stuff, as I've said in so many other series I've reviewed, they don't drive me. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. I'm not going to let that, destroy the series for me. But I am a big fan of the King and Diane ship, so just seeing that little segment right there, I was like, yes, yes, Nakaba-sensei, good man, good mans right there. But, yeah, King is going off doing his own thing with Bond right now, so he, can't communicate with Diane, so that's kind of sad. And then on top of that, we get a person that can manipulate someone's memories, make them forget stuff. So, if you can't put A and B together, I don't think you really need to think that hard. Like, I mean, it's pretty simple. Galther could manipulate people's memories. Diane gets her memories back. King is like, holy crap, Diane knows who I am now. Diane wants to talk to King. Galther can change memories. Think about that for a second. Just okay, I want to leave it at that, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyways, let's talk about the, King and Bond stuff. So, overall, Bond, he, as we know, his big objective for a very long time is to resurrect his girlfriend, the person he loves, which is Elaine, King's sister. And it's a very sad relationship, because we know what happened. We know what happened to Bond and Elaine, and what happened to the original Fairy Forest. It's just a very sad story. And Bond, he's been traveling for a long time trying to figure out a way to bring her back. And in Season 1, you saw how he was willing to go as far as to kill Meliodas just to be able to bring her back. But in the end, he realized it was not a good thing to do. It was not right. For him to bring back Elaine with the blood of his friend, it wouldn't have made her happy at all. So that's why he stopped. That's why he didn't have that fight at all. Like, he was going to have it, but then he stopped because he realized, what's the, like, point of trying to resurrect the person he loves if he has to stain his hands because of it? Like, you know, with his friend's blood. So, it shows how he feels guilty. Bond is very guilty about what he's done. He feels bad about it, and he even says, like, how am I worthy to be your king if I can do that to my own friend? He's like, that guy over there, king, that is your fairy king. You know, make him your boss. I can't be your boss after what I have done. So, I thought that was really cool. In a lot of ways, it basically shows that Bond, he made a decision. He decided to choose Meliodas over Elaine in that moment. And once again, it's sad. It separates him from the person he loves. So, yeah, just a little bit of development going on there for Bond, and just, you know, letting us know that he probably has a very long path ahead of him, a journey to be able to get probably what he wants. So, anyways, let's talk about how King was talking to his best friend that he killed in Season 1. So, the helmet he got from Helbram, that helmet has his soul inside of it. So, King can talk with him. As long as if he carries around him and he wears it, he could see him, so he could communicate. But he's still a spirit, he's not really there, he can't really help out, and he's basically there just to watch over King to make sure everything is okay. Because right now, King has been through a lot. He has had a lot of bad things happen to him in recent, you know, like recent times. I mean, look what happened at the end of Season 1, throughout Season 1, and all that, his past origin story. He's had a lot of bad things happen to him. So, Helbram's basically around trying to just make sure King keeps a level head and everything is going to be okay. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on there. Next thing, let's move over into the 10 Commandments. So, all the commandments that we got to see, the name drops and all of that, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? No spoilers. One of my personal favorites, for obvious reasons, is Derriere, the girl, the female that you see a part of the 10 Commandments. Love her. Love her. The subs I read, they didn't give her the right translation. I was really upset about that. I was really upset about the translation of saying, like, oh, emitting. Like, she was saying emitting. And I'm like, that's not what she said. And I know this series is being fan subbed by many different, you know, groups now, because we can't depend on Netflix, because Netflix decides to license something and then release it when many seasons pass, and they're like, we don't give a crap anymore. Just, we don't. So, I'm upset with Netflix and how they've been handling things, especially with Violet Evergarden, and then now this. It's really upsetting. And then we're going to have to look forward to Fate Extra as well through Netflix. We're going to have to find our own ways to watch it. Just, it's annoying. It's really, really annoying. And I'm not blaming us, you know, the fan subs and all that for having things different from what I'm used to. It kind of sucks, because I know Derriere had this certain line that she said that was hilarious, and I can't really say it because of YouTube and how YouTube is nowadays, so I can't say it, but it's a very interesting line. You know, manga readers, let them know in the comments. If you have been around in the series for a while and you know what her original lines were, what she used to say, then let them know in the comments if they ask the question of what did she say that was like her go-to line, her catchphrase. Let them know. But I'm going to end it there. I do overall think that this is a very solid start for Taizai. It does have its problems here and there, like Season 2 already, but it seems to be a lot better than the first season. So, I love you guys. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button down below. Please be safe. Chibi out.